On the 9th of December 2010, the Prince of Wales was inadvertently caught up in a violent encounter on his way to the Royal Variety performance in London. With the help of his driver and security detail, he escaped quickly without suffering any harm. 220 years earlier, in Brighton, a different Prince of Wales was caught up in a violent encounter in the street that ended very differently indeed. There is arguably no better example of the arrogance and self-entitlement of the Georgian aristocracy than that of Richard Barry, 7th Earl of Barrymore. His father died when he was 4 years old, his mother not long afterwards, and as a vastly wealthy child, his every whim was pandered to by those about him. He was a sportsman, a promoter, a womanizer, a drinker and a gambler, and he threw around his money as if there was no end to it. Luckily for him, that was essentially true. He was the stereotypical Regency rake, and was even known as the Rake of Rakes. His close friend, the Prince of Wales, gave him the nickname Hellgate, as that was clearly where he was heading. Among his many self-indulgences was to be the sole patron of his own personal pugilist, who he paid handsomely to act as his bodyguard, none other than Hooper, known as the Tin Man. On one or two occasions, he even tried his hand at sparring himself. He was a man utterly consumed by his own brilliance, his own physical prowess, and his own superiority in every facet of life, an attitude that was reinforced by everyone around him. So, when in 1790, while out for a walk along the seafront in Brighton, Lord Barrymore saw a man named Fox, a man he believed to have written an abusive pamphlet about him, it was never going to end well. Barry marched across the road accompanied by his henchman Hooper. He stopped Fox and loudly demanded to know why he would dare write such lies. Fox immediately denied it, but Barry called him a liar and hit him, knocking him to the ground. Fox leapt back to his feet and without any hesitation set about his man. Hooper was about to come to his master's defence when a loud voice from the other side of the road called to the group. "A ring! A ring! We need a ring!" It was none other than George Augustus Frederick, Prince of Wales and heir to the throne. An impromptu ring was soon formed, and the prince offered his services as second to his old friend Barrymore. Hooper took control of the crowd to ensure no one interfered, and the fight began. Sadly for Barrymore, it seemed that his opponent had more skill. He was knocked to the ground, and as was the fashion in the early days of pugilism, retired to his corner to sit on the knee of his second, none other than the man who would become George IV. The second round was much the same, and it rapidly became clear to everyone watching, and to Barrymore himself, that he was not going to win this. But he was not a man who was willing to take defeat if there was any choice. His face bruised and bleeding, he kicked his opponent hard in the groin. And as Fox fell to the ground, the prince cried out, "No, damn it, Barrymore, behave like a man!" Whether it was because of the low blow, the presence of the prince himself, or simply because he knew it would be unlikely to end there if he won, Fox resigned the fight, acknowledging Barrymore as the better man, much to the disappointment of the prince. It seems more than a little hypocritical that the Prince of Wales himself could instigate, organise and participate in a very public boxing match in the street in the same year that Richard Humphreys had been summoned before the magistrates in London and bound over on pain of imprisonment not to fight Daniel Mendoza, as public displays of boxing were a breach of the peace. But if there's one thing that is true of Georgian England, and the world of pugilism specifically, it's that there was one rule for those wealthy, titled men known as the fancy, and a very different rule for everyone else. If you found this very brief look at one of the most interesting characters of the pugilistic world interesting, and want to learn a little bit more about him, there's another video all about him coming out on my second channel, Amazing History. There's a link in the description below. I hope to see you there.